Welcome back to Shapes. This is tutorial 2 of 2. So I'm going to start off with our heading again. Again, we've got a letter size page of which we're going to follow along. Again, they're two-dimensional graphic shapes, and this is 2 of 2. So what we're going to be starting off with next is, again, it should be equal in length, all of the lines. I'm not going to measure. Hopefully we are. Again, I want to get in the practice, and I'm hoping you all get in the practice of using blue to work down a preliminary drawing and then go over it in lead pencil. So the name of this equal-sided, three-sided triangle is equilateral triangle. So the alternative to that is, and let me work on another one here. So here's one that not all three sides are equal. So we have a long side, opposite long side, and then a shorter horizontal line. So if that's the case, we have isosceles triangle. So they have very specific names depending on the shape. Now, I've got one more. I've got a few more triangles here. So I'm going to do one that has a horizontal line, a vertical line, and then connecting up those sides. So this one is a right-angled triangle. And if you're used to these, if you have a set square for drawing with, and you're going to need to have one of those when we get into perspective with a T-square and a set square. These are one of your options, and when you're using it as a drawing tool, this right angle triangle usually has an opening here. So we take a look at that as a set square. And this one would be, if you set it up on the small end, it is a 60 degree. And on the shallow end, it is a 30 degree. So now the alternative to that, as we'll come down to the next row, we'll do the same thing. We're going to do a vertical line, a horizontal line. These will be the same length, whereas these were two different lengths. If you have these the same, and bring this across, and again, if we looked at that as a set square, an art tool, and let me make use of my lead pencil. This would be a 45 degree set square. So those are the options you have when you're going to be buying the set square and T-square that you can get, or both, a 60 degree or a 45 degree angled set square. Okay, so we're going to go on to some more shapes here. So this is all just variations of triangle and the specific names that we have for them. I'm going to go back to our square. I'm going to do a blue four-sided equal square. But this time I'm going to divide that into six squares up and six squares across. What I'm going to do is, with the lead pencil, pick up the outline of these. A little more complex of a shape. This one complex enough that it actually has 12 sides, and the shape is known as a cross. Now, if we take that, let me see, I'm going to kind of cheat here. If we set it on its side, like so, so its orientation is different, but its structure is exactly the same. But instead of a cross, it is an X shape. So same structure, same as the square when you put it in up on its side onto a point, then it becomes a diamond shape. Move forward, going to draw another reference square, trying to keep it equal on the four sides. On this one, we're going to go from a point here, come down, point here. This one's going to be much more complex than what we've had. About 1/3 up, we're going to go across. Then we're going to take this line and connect it down here, and then here, connect this line down to here. So what we have, how many sides is this one? Let's see, I'll count as I draw them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 sides, and we can recognize that as a star. So again, more complex shapes that we're coming up with. Now the next one, we played with this shape before when we were looking at elements of design, so see how well I can make, well, a little wobbly, a circle. And that is one-sided, one big curved line. And then if we had a circle within a circle, we end up with a donut shape. So one of the things I wanted to show, again, if you're having trouble making a circle, trying to make it as perfect as we can start with an equal-sided square. They could be a little easier to draw and to measure out. If we do from angle to angle, angle to angle here, point to point, and then divide half sideways, half this way, then the idea is take it by segments. So if we make a curved line here, a curved line here, from point to point, theoretically, make it a little easier to draw a circle. Actually, when I draw circles, and for the video, I've been keeping my paper steady, but most often when I'm drawing, and actually, I do much better drawing if I actually move my paper so that I can get a better angle. Also, you'll find, especially with curved lines, and in this case, a circle, yet as I rotate the paper and go like that, it's much easier to draw because my wrist bends and I have an automatic arc to my drawing because of that, keeping that oriented so that I can work with my wrist joint and how that works. That'll be handy as you get doing a lot of drawing, because you'll find, one of the issues that happen is that you start to wear out your risk getting this carpal tunnel, and you won't be too productive. So it's finding the easy methods so that you're not wearing against your joints and tiring yourself out. Okay, so we got a circle. Just got a few more here, not too many. We're going to do a circle again, but I'm going to do half a circle. So that's a unique shape upon itself. And official name for that is a semicircle. Now, you saw I did this to create a circle, as round a circle as you can. But what we can do, if we create, instead of a box, a rectangle, and did the same thing. Not being too precise here, but you get the idea. The idea now, instead of a round circle, we got an elliptical shape, which again is its own two-dimensional shape. Let me rotate this around. So this, come back. Then we have what we call an ellipse, or also could be called an oval. Yeah. So now over here I'm going to draw a circle again for another shape. I'm going to kind of divide it down the center, and then I'm going to create another curve here. So now I'm going to draw, or just in lead, just this piece. And the name for this, you might be familiar, if you look up the sky at night, the moon goes in various phases. So this shape is known as a crescent. So that's why this is called, when you see the night sky and see a moon in the shape, it's a crescent moon. Also, again, we talked about shapes being the name of an object. If you've ever had a French pastry, a croissant, little different pronunciation, but the food is named after the shape of it, of what it is. So yeah, there you go. So one last one I'm going to do. I am going to do a line and a line. I'm going to do a half circle, another half circle. Then I'm going to bring this down to a point and this down to a point. So again, it's breaking it down into other shapes to create a more complex shape. And we're probably all familiar with this one. And it is exactly what it looks like. The name of that is a heart. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Hopefully you followed along, you've written these down, hopefully we've learned something. We're going to be using these shapes to create more complex graphic sort of two-dimensional drawings and illustrations. That'll be in the next video or two. So we'll wrap this one up. Please make sure you've followed this and created your samples, and that you've digitized this and put it in the and submitted it for marking, that you've participated and you've made these visual notes. All right. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.